So, Sam, you've written Willful Blindness. I'm unaware of another book like this. I certainly haven't read one. You take us on a journey, basically like your own journey of almost 20 years of investigative reporting through, I don't know, the dark underbelly of how corruption and drugs and, frankly, sex trafficking and the Chinese Communist Party intersect and, frankly, grow and metastasize in Canada, with impacts not just on Canada, Vancouver and Canada, but also on the world. I mean, this is an unbelievable piece. I just want to let the audience know this is my experience of reading the book. How does organized crime and the Chinese Communist Party intersect? Give me the rundown.
Well, the rundown is really, you're right. It's actually about 10 years of my personal reporting in discovering this convergence of the party run out of Beijing, the Communist Party, and how it co-opts and uses really any tool at its disposal. I knew for years that sort of high-level Western intelligence reports alleged there was this unbelievable connection between state actors in China from the party, some of the most powerful people in the world, and how they interrelate with crime bosses. Especially for people born in countries such as Canada, it's hard to believe. This is intelligence reporting that a bit of it gets leaked in Canada, and still many people can't believe it. But my journey of discovery was really getting into the story through strange real estate happenings in Vancouver. And eventually I discovered that this underground banking model that people are aware of, Macau casinos, people are aware that the Chinese Communist Party is very active in Hong Kong. People know of those indications where the party uses thugs to intimidate democracy protesters in Hong Kong. But I was finding that this was happening in Canada. And really, the journey of discovery is Canada, especially the city of Vancouver, has become a global node of the party's efforts to infiltrate democratic societies through purchases of real estate, through efforts to get into technology companies in Western nations, through the usage of tycoons, industrialists that travel the world playing baccarat. And while they're playing baccarat, they're not just entertaining themselves, they are exporting capital, but there's also another layer to it. There are more nefarious activities, I found, which could involve, to use an intelligence term, threat financing. This could mean that money transacted in casinos, it looks like a so-called loan shark giving a high roller money to use in a casino in Vancouver, but it also could include a drug transaction. It could include providing money to someone. They may have some political influence operations or some money to spread around in politics in Canada. So there's just so many different lines of, you could say, attack being used by the party in very sophisticated methods that I found often run through casinos. And to a shocking extent in Vancouver, I have to say that for Canadians, it's unbelievable to think that a hockey bag with up to $1 million cash can be walked into a casino to buy chips. It looks, smells, and it's a drug trafficking transaction. Yet this is happening in Canada, not always in broad daylight, sometimes around midnight in the casinos. But it was happening, and I just found so much more was happening, flowing out of those transactions.
Well, so let's talk about the casinos just for a second, because there's multiple things happening with these giant hockey bags of rolls of 20s that you were describing. I mean, they're so big because they're small bills, but people cash out and then they get big bills. And this is, I mean, frankly, incredible money laundering operation, isn't it?
It's incredible. And to break that down, look, drug trafficking organizations around the world have a problem. It's not really a problem for them to make money. It's a problem to move money. So when they sell fentanyl or cocaine, methamphetamines, ecstasy on the street, they get $20 bills. They're often soiled. We know that they cause deaths in cities like Vancouver from fentanyl, heroin overdoses, but they create a huge volume, literally warehouses of $20 bills, and they're useless for the drug trafficking organizations unless they can get the volume down. How do they do that? One of the simplest ways and the most apparent ways in Vancouver casinos is the drug trafficking organizations hire loan sharks, or runners as they're called, to go into the casino. They identify high-rolling gamblers, and they provide these $20 bills, $10,000 bundles wrapped in elastic bands in the manner of street drug trafficking. The VIP gamblers go to the casino cash cage. They get their chips, which have values of up to $5,000. They gamble, and they can receive, if they win, if they're lucky, they can get a casino check. The money laundering can flow from that. You can see how quickly you can get a down payment if you have a check for $500,000 to buy a home. Or simply the $20 are exchanged for clean $100 bills wrapped to Canadian banking standards. And that is just the most simple and apparent way that these volumes of $20 bills are reduced to bankable $100. And again, sophisticated transactions flow from that. But my book, my reporting discovery was showing that simple direct money laundering method of getting those $20, turning them into hundreds, and banking them.
Before we continue, I'd like to remind everyone to subscribe to our new video platform, Epoch TV. So Epoch TV has a host of new and exclusive programming, and it's totally free of censorship. You can subscribe at epochtv.com/ATL. epochtv.com/ATL. You can also subscribe at the link below. You know, you call this, or this is part of what you call the Vancouver model. I'm going to get you to explain that to me a little later. And in fact, you extrapolate later on and you say, well, in fact, you know, based on what I've seen and happening north of Toronto, this is actually the Canada model, right? Which is, frankly, chills me to the bone because, as you said earlier, we don't tend to think of ourselves, you know, Canadians, we don't tend to think of ourselves as, you know, being amidst, you know, hotbeds of this kind of activity.
That's absolutely right. And we can go farther. It's actually the Macau model of money laundering. And this is how it works. It's been happening for decades in Macau. The Hong Kong tycoon owned those casinos. They essentially had monopolies for many years. We know China is an immensely rich country now. Of course, it's a communist country. The people have a limit of $50,000 they can export per year. So how do those people that are very connected on the high side in the Chinese Communist Party, very wealthy narcos, maybe even some legitimate industrialists, still want to get their money out of China? They go to a Macau casino and they make a deal with triads. I'm going to put a credit down in a Chinese bank. I'll arrive in Macau. I'll have a good time. You'll pay me out that cash. I can gamble. Now I can get a check out of the casino. Now my money can go abroad. That model was simply transplanted to Vancouver and, of course, Toronto. Underground banking allowed those same transactions. I talk about a man, a very prolific loan shark, a Richmond organized crime figure, would travel to Macau. He would travel to China. He would travel to Hong Kong, and he would recruit these ultra-wealthy baccarat gamblers and say, there's another market in town. Fly into Richmond, BC, put your credit down in a Chinese bank, and I'll pay you out in cash. There's no problem. You can buy the casino chips. We have good deals. Not only that, I have underground casinos in my Richmond mansions you can gamble in. Come to Canada. That's the Vancouver model. It's happening in Markham, Ontario, North Toronto. It's the Canada model, and it all really grew out of that Macau, Hong Kong, Chinese Communist Party, and narco trafficker nexus that's been running for years.
Hey, thanks for watching American Thought Leaders. As you're probably well aware, big tech has been censoring a lot of content on its platforms, including some American Thought Leaders episodes, including some other Epoch Times content. Now, to deal with this, we've actually launched a new video platform, Epoch TV. Epoch TV is our premium platform for digital video content. It's got American thought leaders. It's got Facts Matter with Roman Balmakov, The Larry Elder Show, Crossroads with Joshua Phillip. And frankly, this is our contribution, if you will, to the uncensored media landscape, which is something we really, really need in this country and around the world, frankly. To subscribe, epochtv.com/ATL. Go to epochtv.com/ATL or hit the link below.